Hey y'all, Natalie here today, and I'm finally breaking into the 49th and Market Spectrum Sherbet collection. And while I say I'm breaking into it, please know that I cannot break my hoarding tendencies all at one time. It's just ridiculous. It's so beautiful. And I got a good chunk of this collection, and I literally used like a tiny strip of paper and some ribbons. But I actually love this layout so much, so I'm okay with it. I'm going to try not to hoard it, but I also definitely have another set of those palette rub-ons like in my cart ready to go because they're so gorgeous and I want to keep them forever. So I tear a strip of the 6x8 rainbow paper there, and I'm going to use that to make my mixed media background. I have clear gesso on that top portion of the page. You can kind of see where it's a little wrinkly. And so I'm laying out the paper to kind of dictate my colors. And then I have this stamp, and it is a heart, and it says nope in the middle of it. But it's a good solid stamp, and you're really not going to see a lot of the heart or the word nope. You might see a little bit of it, which is fine, because the entire page is about my son playing the drums and how I feel validated in my choice to not allow that in my home. I would be a crazy person, maybe when he's older. But so I'm just stamping on the gessoed portion of the page with this solid stamp in a rainbow of colors overlapping because I'm going to add water and I want them to mix together in a nice rainbow shape. You'll see Missy Wooden do this a lot, and I recently watched a video of her doing something like this, and I had to play along. I didn't have the perfect blue color there, so what I did was I stamped this royal blue, and then I rubbed it in a little bit of smoky gray first. Since I'm going to add water and like mess it up anyway, it worked pretty well. It gave me at least a darker color. So I spritzed some water over all of the top of the stamped images, and then I'm going through with my paintbrush and just blurring out the rough edges of the stamp, just letting it be really faded out is the word I'm looking for, faded, and letting the colors run together in their color families in the rainbow spectrum. And I really love how this turned out. You can see there in the middle where that green is, there's kind of like a little spot that isn't really blurring out well. And I think what happened was like I didn't get enough gesso right there. So it's kind of on plain paper. And then when you have that, you're not going to get the ability to play with the colors and add a lot of water like you will on the rest of the page that has a lot of gesso. So I'm going to let that dry. I'm really loving the way the colors are running together, but they're still like distinguishable in a rainbow pattern. There's a little bit of blank space there, so I added in a different, more vibrant green color. And in the Spectrum Sherbet collection by 49th and Market, there are just like so many different greens. Like it's really a spectrum of them. And so I liked adding in that green color in the different layer of color that it added. So I take that little strip, I roughed it up, and I decide to cut it up because it was a 6x8 piece, and obviously that doesn't go across my 12x12 piece. But I cut it up and we'll plan to space it out kind of like the palette rub-ons. So they're like they're almost like brush strokes of where you would like test out the colors of your palette. And so I kind of did that with the paper, and then I cut off smaller sections. So I'm going to like put the little bits at the top and the little bits at the bottom. I hope that makes sense, but you can kind of see that's the idea I'm going for there. And to me, that mimicked the rub-ons, which if you've watched my videos before in the past few months, I've used a lot of 49th and Market rub-ons on my mixed media background. I just can't get enough. They're so gorgeous. I decided to add some black because in the photos there is a pop of black. So I grabbed this Amy Tangerine like grid stamp, and I'm just going to messily around the edges of the mixed media, use my finger to manipulate the stamp because it was better than getting the same image up multiple times doing it on a block. And then I'm going to go in and add splatter on top of that stamped little grid all the way around the edges of the mixed media. Super happy with how that is looking. And so basically I just used the collection as like a jumping off point, an inspiration for my rainbow background, but it's okay. I didn't use much of it, but I'm just going to keep more for later. I know I have so many scrapbook supplies, like I don't need to hoard things, but it's just so beautiful. And if you look at it online, like I don't even think it does it justice. Like it is in real life, so gorgeous. So I'm adding black on the edges of all of the paper strips because I felt that was a good way to incorporate the black that I added onto the mixed media into the rest of the page. I'm also back using the rest of that strip of paper to back my photos. And so I did one on kind of like the warmer half of the rainbow and one on the cooler half. And then they'll look like they're falling into the proper place down below. I'm going to stick one of them up on foam and then kind of like overlap them down there together because I didn't want to hide any of the background. I know that I normally will say like, make the mixed media background. You hide a lot of it anyway. Not in this case, no. I stuck the photos in the journaling down below because I didn't want to really cover up any of the background. Ink up the edges of that as well. I did try to use my favorite Heather Alpha dye from Pink Fresh Studio to do kind of like a rainbow title across like color block the letters. But they blended in too well with the background and they weren't really showing the way I wanted them to. So I decided just to use a crisp white letter. There you see. They're Pink Fresh Studio alphas as well. Just letter stickers. And the title is Validated. Now before I add that, I'm going to go in with all of the color, the palette rub-ons. And I think there's 8 different sheets. Let's see. No, there's 6 different sheets, but they have so many different little pieces of palette. So I just go through and I pick out a few from each color, and then I'm going to add some along the top and some along the bottom of the mixed media, kind of facing inwards, both directions. And some of them have a really nice black outline on them, so that will kind of help tie into the black that I have included on the background. So I'm being like not super precise on how I lay them down, and I'm kind of mixing them up. Sometimes I even layer them over one another, like right there, because I do want it to look imprecise and messy and rustic and not perfect, because that is definitely not my style at all. As you can see, this is quite a grungy page. So I do that all the way across the top and the bottom, and then I also go ahead and stick down all of those little paper pieces. I thought about doing some stitching through them, but I was just really happy with the way it looked, so I decided to forego the stitching because I wasn't really sure how I would do it. Like, would I do a straight line all the way across, and then that would kind of break up like how I have sections of color? So I don't know. I just decided not to do it. I guess I could have individually sewn across the top and bottom of each little paper slice, but anyway, I didn't. I'll take this opportunity to let you know that I have my affiliate links listed down below. If you would like to go shopping, there is still some of this lovely collection in the A Cherry on Top store. I also have affiliate links for a few other places. And let me know if you have any questions. I love to get comments, and I answer all of them if I can, if I see them, hopefully. But yeah, I thank you guys so much for watching, and I really would love it if you'd like and subscribe. I'm really getting close, only like about 100 subbies away from 1,000. I feel like I've kind of been working towards this goal for a while now, and I'm excited about it. I would love to get there soon. So just adding in a few different there were a few blanks where I needed additional little rub-ons, so I'm adding them in. Sometimes once you rub it on, it's a little bit hard to get the plastic off of the top, just because they like stick to the paper a little bit, but that's why I had it turned upside down. So I'm using my T-square ruler to make sure that I get the title nice and straight in the middle, just because I feel like it would look really nice. And I'm going to spread out the words to kind of go across the middle of the page. And the title is Validated. I had to use a J to finish off that F into an E there. And then I actually used V's for A's as well. Got to get creative when you're at the bottom of your letter stickers. And I could have die cut some white letters to go across the middle, but this was easier. So that's what I went with, because I'd already spent a lot of time on the background, and I like the bright white crisp pop there in the middle. So I got a little bit of black ink from the edges of my papers down on the white part. So I thought, well, let's embrace it and I added additional black splatter at the bottom around where the photos will be. Just a little bit, not too much. And let's see, what am I doing here? I'm sticking down my photos. This is my kid. He's playing drums at my aunt's house. She got a set of drums, and he had recently started music lessons, and we had considered drums, but we ultimately went with the keyboard or piano. And once we got there, I was so glad that's what we had decided, because he's just young and wild, and he wasn't quite ready for drums, or my nerves were not quite ready. Sorry, excuse the hair in the photo. I have those really gorgeous clear gems. They're from, what are they called? Pretty Pink Posh. I picked those up at Scrappin' in the City a while back when I went to a real scrapbook store, which was amazing and so fun to go into. My thought when I put them on was they probably were going to pick up the color underneath. And in the final photos, you will be able to tell that they did do so. So please know, when you're doing something like that with like a clear gem or sequin, it's very likely if you put it on top of ink, it's going to pick up the color underneath, which was fine with me. It was really beautiful. So I just added my journaling there with some lines, and I'll add the date off screen, and that'll be it. I'm super happy with how this turned out. Go grab you some 49th and Market Spectrum Sherbet. It is so gorgeous. I just can't get enough of it. You'll be seeing this for a really long time to come, popping up in a lot of my layouts, I'm sure, unless I hoard it all and can't do anything with it. Thank you guys so much for watching. I'd love it if you'd like and subscribe. Bye, y'all.